How's everyone doing? This is once again Time and Truth 1776 coming at you with another video. Now, I just watched a video from the Black Conservative Perspective. He just did a video on Anthony Mackie, the actor who played Falcon in the Avengers. And Anthony Mackie feels it's very hard to make it in America as a black man. This man, when I Googled, Anthony Mackie, the drop down says net worth. So I just clicked on net worth and it's saying he's worth around $8 million. That's pretty damn good, $8 million. A lot of people in their lives, they're not even ever going to even see $1 million, okay? He has $8 million. Now he tells this story and how he feels that he didn't get a bank loan because he's black. Banks really do not like to give money to any form of anything to do with the arts. That could be movies, that could be television shows, video games, and things of that nature. That's more for VC capitals, capital companies, and so on. And one of the reasons why banks really don't want to get involved with entertainment is if something flops, what is there for them to repossess? Okay. Now he wanted to do this project, I guess a television show and so on. So let's say the television show flops. The bank is probably going to have to go to court or whatever, take his home, go into his savings account or his checking account and try and repossess what the bank lost. That's one of the reasons why the banks do not want to get involved in the arts. You know who else got turned down for a loan? Believe it or not, I'll tell you. George Lucas for The Empire Strikes Back. Now you're probably wondering why. George Lucas, one of the most successful filmmakers in American history, he was turned down for a bank loan. Now I've seen the interviews with him, and he said the bank had a very strict policy of not investing into anything to do with movies or television or anything of that nature, because you just never know if you're going to be dealing with a flop. And George Lucas was like, you do understand that Star Wars, which is now episode 4 and it's called A New Hope or whatever it's called now, was the biggest movie at the time in movie history. And the bank was just like, doesn't matter. Empire Strikes Back could still be a flop. So the bank is like, well, if it's a flop, George Lucas doesn't have $10 million. What are we going to get out of George Lucas if the movie flops? Not a lot of anything. Now, if the movie was very successful, George Lucas would probably pay that $10 million off very quickly, and the bank would probably just make a little pocket change on the interest very quickly. So that's one of the reasons why banks really do not like to invest into anything to do with arts, if that's TV, television, movies, even video games, tech companies. That's really for venture capital companies. Now I want to talk about another guy, a little bit off topic, and that is Curt Schilling. For you guys who don't know, Curt Schilling was a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. He was an excellent pitcher. When he wasn't pitching, one of his big hobbies was playing video games. He loved games like online RPGs like EverQuest, World of Warcraft, and those types of games. And you can tell by the games that he likes, he was probably a huge Lord of the Rings fan as well. And he wanted to create a company that would go head to head with Blizzard. Now Blizzard has been around for years. Okay, they didn't start out making games like World of Warcraft. They started making smaller PC games at the time. There was a game called Blackthorn. It was a sci-fi game or something. It was a side scroller. Came out for the PC. I think it was on Super Nintendo and probably the Sega Genesis as well. And they built up the company over some time, and then they went after making these huge projects. Curt Schilling did not want to do those things and start a small company and work his way up. What he did was he was going to a lot of venture capitals companies that I heard of, and he was looking for people to invest in his company. He, from what I heard, there's a story I'll leave in a link from Reason TV. He went to Debacle Patrick, the former governor of Massachusetts, to try and get the state of Massachusetts to invest into his company, and Debacle Patrick was not interested. Rhode Island gave him a deal, the former governor, and a new governor came in, and that new governor, from what I heard, did not like Curt Schilling, and it was a whole mess. And then, from the story, it says Curt Schilling was late on his payment. I don't really know what was really going on, but the whole thing was a bust, okay? One of the things you don't want to do is when you borrow money is you have to answer to somebody else, okay? Now, I do feel my own personal feelings, if it was right or wrong to give Curt Schilling that money. Curt Schilling was so far in developing his game. Now, the first game did pretty well. It didn't make as much money as they were hoping for, but it came out for the Xbox, PS3, and PC. And for what people have said, it was actually a really good game. He was only about a month or two or a few months away from releasing his second game that would have gone up against World of Warcraft. And if that game was very successful, it would have been a gold mine for Rhode Island. I mean, literally a gold mine. But they decided to pull the plug on it right before it was released. And now, my personal opinion was I went to giving him the money, but it was so far into it, they were about to release it, I would have done it. That's an exception to the rule. So when you look at these types of projects, these artistic projects, you really don't want to get involved with these types of things if you're a bank or so on, because they are very, very risky. There is a company here in Massachusetts called Greylock. They invest in a lot of tech startups and so on. And I think I saw this story years ago on 60 Minutes. They invest in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tech startups. All right. Now, one of the things they said is that they know they're going to lose money on 99% of them on these tech startups. They're giving 10 million, 20 million to this company, to that company, and they own a piece of that company. And if those companies become very successful, they're going to make billions and billions and billions of dollars. Like they invested in Google, Facebook, and so on, and they're going to make a bankload of money. So that's where venture capitalists come in, because they're gambling that they only need one or two hits, and they're going to be gold mines. Now, I do remember another story about 10 years ago, and I remember having this app on my iPhone 3GS, so this is a long time ago. There was this tech guy, I don't remember his name, but he developed an app, a social media app. It was called Color, just the word color. I know if you're from the UK, they spell it differently. This is COLOR, the way we spell it here in America, Color. And it was a photo app that if you took pictures, anybody that walked by you would get a copy of that photograph. And I left my iPhone on in the house. Somebody walked by my house, and I got a picture of this person, and he worked at this other company down the street. I Googled him, and it said his name and everything. That app did not take off, and the venture capital company that invested into that app called Color was $30 million. Now, I know this guy had a track record of social media. He was very successful in his past projects, and that's why he got the $30 million. But when I heard about this project, it did not seem like a very good idea. What was even worse was the name Color, because it is such a generic name that it could get shuffled in with many other apps like color black and white photographs. There's apps that do that now, or coloring books, like apps that where kids can. You wanted to have something a little different that when people look for it in the search engine, people could find it. So that was a huge flop with that project. That's what Anthony Mackie doesn't get about him going for a loan. Banks don't care about your artistic projects. They don't care about movies. They don't care about TV shows. They don't care about startups. Those are venture capitalists. Now, also, I will say this. You know, I don't know if he had a deal with Netflix or Amazon or something. That's also risky if the guy doesn't have any deals in place for airing this. You know, and then if you do get it aired, what was the return on the commercials? They make the money back on that, and banks don't want to get involved with that. Banks, you know, they want to do homes, they want to do businesses, physical businesses, and things of that nature. So if something goes under, they can go and say, hey, we're repossessing this home, we're repossessing this business, and we're going to take it. All right. Now, when Curt Schilling, when his company went under, you know, they were auctioning off or selling the computers, they were selling everything. That game that his company was working on, some other company bought it, I think in Europe for like $900,000. I think THQ bought it 2 years ago. I don't even know if it's ever going to get released, but you know, it could be vaporware. So that's why companies don't want to get involved with entertainment things, and it's a very risky move. And so on. I think my advice would be to Anthony Mackie is hire 1 or 2 people and start shooting your own pilots, and then shoot a pilot and then try and sell that to a television network of some sort. I will tell you this, there's a video on YouTube, if I can find it, I'll leave it in the description box. There are a lot of movies that have been completely finished that have never seen the light of day. They've never been on Netflix, Amazon Prime, never got a theater release, never came out on DVD or Blu-ray, nothing. The actor that played Bones, Dr. McCoy in the new Star Trek movies, he was in a movie, I think it was, if I remember this video right, talked about him being in a movie, and the movie never got released for whatever reason. I can't remember. There's a lot of legal things that people don't know about why things don't get released. I can't remember if it was Godzilla or King Kong. One studio thought they owned it, Paramount, and then MGM thought they owned it, whatever, and there was some legal battles over that, and so on. Also, I know, like the saying, let's get ready to rumble. That is copyrighted from the guy when you would watch the boxing matches, when he would say that. That's copyrighted. There was a movie, I can't remember. They said it in the movie, and they had to pay royalties to him because they said, let's get ready to rumble. Don't sue me, okay? You're watching this video. I don't remember the guy's name, but I mean, he copyrighted that, and that's actually a saying that he created a string of words and he owns the rights to. It's not like Windows, like, you know, Microsoft tried to copyright the word Windows. You know, it's a generic name. You can't do that, okay? So there are reasons why you would have to be insane to invest in any movie. For the most part, I mean, maybe if you were doing, you know, something with The Rock, he seems to have a pretty good track record. But who knows? You see in these new Star Wars movies, they're not that great. I guess they obviously make money, but they're really bad movies. But I think people are catching on to this stuff that's not good. And I'll be honest with you, I would not invest in anything with movies or tech companies if I was a bank. If I was a venture capitalist, having a VC company, that's a completely different story. So once again, I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. And remember, there will be additional links if you want to learn about bad plastics and take them out of your home so you can have a healthy life. Once again, guys, this has been Time and Truth, 1776. You guys have an awesome day and have a good one. Later, guys. Bye.